Welcome to the San Diego Comic-Con panel discussion for the Netflix smash hit Lucifer. Today we've got the pleasure of speaking with Tom Ellis, Ildy Modrovich, and Joe Henderson. But before we bring them in, let me introduce myself. My name is Luke Cook. You might recognize me from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, where I played Lucifer Morningstar to much critical acclaim. For instance, not to make this about me, but listen to this sterling review from the renowned Instagram critic Proud Mum 69, who commented, "Tom Ellis is a much better Lucifer than you. He's more handsome and has a better so let's bring him in. The man whose shadow I'm destined to live in forever. Tom, how are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well indeed. Nice to meet you, Luke.
You too. Love the hat.
Thanks for sharing my Instagram handle with everybody.
we hold a lot in common, you and me. You can see our bare on Instagram whenever anybody wants to, on-demand streaming. The fans want to know, I want to know, what are you squatting nowadays?
What am I squatting?
Yeah, like what weight?
Well, I've got slightly dodgy knees, so not too heavy, buddy.
Well,
but,
everything's
no one really wants to see my streaming, to be honest.
I think you'd be surprised. Look, everything's working in that department, mate. Let's bring in our executive producers, the brains and the holders of all secrets for season 6, Ildy Modrovich and Joe Henderson. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey. So I've just gotten through season 5B. This show is on song. I think it's never been funnier. It's never been more campy in the best way possible, and it's never been more moving. How does it feel watching it back?
Awesome. It's been a year and a half since we shot it, and so I was able to watch it as a viewer in its own way, even though obviously we were intimately involved. It's so rewarding because we've been sitting on this story and this journey for so long, and to finally have been able to share it with everyone and see everyone's reactions and just revel in how well it turned out and the incredible performances that were on the screen. It's been wonderful.
Great. Ildy, any favorite parts for you watching it back?
Oh my gosh. I have to I've watched that final song in the musical probably like 5 times since, and that's a lot since I've watched it already 50 times.
Yep.
So I love that final moment between Tom and Dennis. I just think it's perfect.
I have to agree. I mean, not that I'm going to make my favorite musical moment was I Dreamed a Dream. You know, the tenor of Tom and the deep booming bass of Dennis Haysbert, just beautiful. I have to ask, how could you kill Dan?
He had it coming.
I'm gonna say it here and now. Tom's idea.
Yeah, Tom hates Kevin Alejandro. Is the truth. Yeah.
Just put it on Tom.
We didn't want to. We were like, all right, if you insist.
It's not a secret, Luke, that like when we were initially doing season 5, we all believed that this was the final season of Lucifer. So there was an element of that in the killing of Dan when it first came up.
Oh, I see.
And on top of that, Kevin Alejandro actually pitched us him dying because he was like, it's the last season. And, you know, everyone has grown to surprisingly love this character. So, and we were in early goings, and that sort of stuck with us as we went. And so it's Kevin's fault, really.
Yeah, he was like, I want to go out in a fiery blaze of glory. We're like, okay.
Yeah.
And he did. And the way that his character is shifted in particular, like he's kind of that grumpy cop in season 1, and he's become this lovable teddy bear in these last few seasons. He's a joy.
We love him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that musical episode. How did you decide on the music? How did you pick the songs?
Just God put a bunch of songs in a bag and just no, we broke the story first, and there were a couple songs we knew we wanted to use. Like we knew we'd have a crime scene, and we knew we wanted to use Queen's Another One Bites the Dust because it was just perfect. And they graciously let us use it. But all the others really came from the story. We broke the story, and then we went, you know, like Dan was going to feel like he was going to go to hell. And so I literally Googled songs, going to hell, like, you know, down Squirrel Nut Zippers. So they all came kind of organically like that.
The nice thing was that a lot of the songs that you chose initially which normally when you're choosing songs, you're like, well, we'd love this, but we didn't get it. We ended up getting pretty much everything that we wanted to do, which was like a dream. We dreamed a dream and we got it.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the engagement, Tom. What was it like to finally film that moment that the fans have been waiting for so long?
I mean, it's quite funny that people think that that's the engagement. It was sort of like, it's sort of an engagement because I think Lucifer thought he was going to die. So it was kind of like symbolic in that moment. And so it was an engagement / sacrifice.
When we went through it, we were deciding what finger to put the ring on and everything. We definitely wanted to hit more the metaphor of it all, the sort of like, I'm sacrificing myself, but I am giving you my love. So I understand where the sort of confusion comes from. It's not an official engagement, but it is an emotional one, some might
It's more
say.
symbolic in nature.
Yes.
Well, it's such a shame that we can't do this all together in person this year, but we have gathered a whole bunch of questions from the Lucifer fans about this season and the upcoming final season, season 6. How have things changed and or stayed the same since the first season?
Oh gosh. The first thing that popped into my head about change is Scarlett, Trixie. She just grew up in front of our eyes. And she's the same age as my daughter, so it was like weird. And stayed the same. I mean, the chemistry between the cast. Just always, just from that pilot episode, just popped, and sizzled, and yeah.
I don't know the ins and outs of the relationships on set. However, you can tell through the screen that you all love each other and that you're having so much fun as you do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They're great actors.
It's really, I mean, we lucked out as a group of people, basically, because, you know, if you do these journeys with people, you really, really hope that there's people that you can get on with. And it's been a strange journey, this show, because it hasn't been like seamless, and it's not been the usual route of a show that goes 6 seasons. So we've kind of like been through a lot together. And, you know, even when we first started, the show was in LA and then got moved to Vancouver. So that was quite a galvanizing moment for all of us, really, because we only had each other. So to have that for the first couple of seasons and then bring it back to LA and it was the foundation of, you know, of the success of the show, I think, just the fact that we really wanted to work with each other and for each other.
Love that. I love that. Tom, what was your favorite set to shoot in?
Oh, the penthouse, without a doubt. I love that set. I just feel like I've had a lot of magical moments on that set. And the one with Dennis being one of them, actually, with that night that we did I Dreamed a Dream was just it was a weirdly sort of magical, emotional night. And it will live with me forever, that. The
entire crew was crying that after those performances. And yeah.
And the many writers who gathered to watch the performance on set, so.
Did you have to send any writers away? It's like, guys, this is a closed set, okay? Head off.
No, you couldn't hold them back if you tried. Like everyone was there to see it, and there was not a dry eye. It was beautiful.
I'll tell you what was weird. My elder sister was visiting that day, right. And she's never seen me on set before. And she came, she sat and watched it all. And at the end of it, she went, "Do you know what's really weird? Like Dennis, like feels like it's your dad. I mean, it really feels like it's your dad." And I was like, "I know."
No, the chemistry between you two is so perfect. It's so like the way that God brought out Lucifer's petulant side, but you could tell that you two were cracking up mid-take. Were you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I loved every second of working with Dennis, but he has this quality about him where and also he's 6'5". You know, me and DB are used to looking down at the rest of the actors. And for the first time ever, we were both like little boys looking up at our dad, and he's a huge presence. And that just, I mean, it really helps everything, to be honest.
Tom, how did you prepare for the musical episode? Are you a musical theater man?
Well, here's the thing. I love music. I've never done musical theater, but that's mainly because you're sort of forced to make a choice. If you go to drama school here, you like either do straight acting or you do musical theater. And I did the straight acting, and so lost music in my life for quite a bit of time. And it was this show that brought music back for me and has like made me fall in love with singing again. So by the time we got around to doing the musical episode, I mean, I felt like I'd won a competition every day I went to work. It was like, this is ridiculous. I get to sing and dance with all these people every day.
I know, they're not easy songs to sing.
No, but you know, it was a lovely challenge, and the fact we were all doing it together as well. It was really the kind of like infectious energy about everyone during that time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Tom, who would you have wanted to play other than your character?
Oh my gosh.
Trixie.
Trixie, yeah, exactly. If she was a hooker. I think I mean, it would have been a lot of fun probably playing DB's part, playing the Menadil. But I think also Maze, just because of all the stuff you get to do.
With those knives?
For sure. Yeah.
Ildy, if you had to choose a character to play, who would you play?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like I'm most like Ella, just in general. I feel like she's kind of my spirit animal. We talk a lot and wear stupid t-shirts and yeah.
and love bad boys.
Well.
There it is. Joe, if you had to be stuck on a desert island with a character, which one would it be?
Oh, definitely Lucifer, but because for one, he'd have a flask, so we get drunk together.
Sure.
And then he could just pop his wings and we could fly off. So that's just a win.
I have to ask, especially to the producers, do you ever see and pay attention to what the fans are saying online? And then do you shift, or are you stubborn? Like, it's like, we're going to do this. And then seeing the fans, do they ever sway you?
I mean, me, yes, they do. I do pay attention. I mean, not to the haters. I'm not going to dial into that, but although we don't have that many haters, it's very nice. Yeah, but I do. We've done some things that they've suggested. Actually,
we'll read the comments, we'll take them to heart, but it's always that game of giving the fans what they need and not necessarily what they want. It's just out there, so there's not much you can really do, especially in this case. We're doing season 5 dropping while we've already finished season 6, so there's no adjustments to be made. And I think it's a good thing, but I think it's like, to Ildy's point, I like knowing what people react to and what they aren't. I like learning from that and trying to adjust when I feel like it's not the tail wagging the dog.
Well, speaking of the Lucifer fans, now we're all here because we're curious about the 6th and final season of Lucifer. Well, we do have some surprises in store for the loyal Lucifer fans. Netflix has heard your cries, and there are now Lucifer profile icons so that you can personalize your Netflix profile at home. You can be a Chloe or a Lucifer or an Ella. I'm sure my wife is going to switch mine to Tom's just to spite me. And today, the Lucifer fans went on a hunt online to try and figure out the season 6 premiere date. Well, we're about to share that with you right now, San Diego Comic-Con. Take a look at this video.
I'll make you a believer.
Oh.
what?
I got chills.
Oh my goodness, I got chills. But okay, so September 10. Now that we know that it's so close, let's talk about season 6. Does Lucifer have all of God's powers?
Good question.
Good question.
And I think that'll be one of the first questions that our characters will be asking when we start season 6.
Good thing to explore.
Yeah, it seems like a really good. Ildy, we need to go back to the room and
shoot.
Yeah.
Tom, is Lucifer going to solve crimes in season 6?
Oh, I think it's in his DNA now. There may be the odd thing to solve, but he's got quite a few mysteries to solve, to be honest, in season 6.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like at the end of season 5, Lucifer was having to do a lot of growing up before he became God. It was like really wrestling with the pain in his life and the pain of other people's lives, watching Dan die. Is he going to continue this maturation, or is he always going to be this charming, immature?
Well, I think he grew up a lot. And he's still in the process of growing up, but I think it's that classic thing of be careful what you wish for. Because, you know, he did convince himself about a lot of things during season 5, but when something that you think about actually happens, it often feels very different. So that's the kind of conundrum that Lucifer finds himself in season 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Luke, everything you were saying is sort of what we were asking ourselves when we were trying to figure out if we had the story for season 6, because so much of his story of season 5 was maturing and growing up. And to Tom's point, like there is so much to explore when you actually get to the moment where you think you're done. You think you've become the person you've been trying to become. And that became really interesting to explore.
And with Lucifer, it's always one step forward, you know, 2, 3 steps back. So
3 drunken stumbles backward.
Now, if Chloe takes off the ring, not engagement ring necessarily, if she takes off Lilith's ring, will she die?
This one we can definitely answer.
No, she does not. Will not.
We can reveal that was it had a certain amount of power. The power was used to bring her back. Now it just looks awesome on her hand.
Amenadiel, will he become a police detective?
I think we can also answer that. Yeah. Yes. Yes. He, detective or police?
Police detective.
He will join the LAPD.
Okay. Corbett is a bad boy. Ella, Corbett, is there a love interest there?
Well, so much of what we were building on season 5 was Dan sort of leaving a legacy. And one of the things he tried to do with his dying breath was, to a certain extent, is introduce Ella to someone he thought might be good for her. And that is definitely something we will explore in season 6, the legacy of that gesture from Dan. And Scott Porter's so much fun. So
fun. What are the chances that he would, you know, also be a serial killer? Like, very, very slim. Right?
And is Ella going to learn the truth about Lucifer?
That is a very interesting question.
I mean, she's certainly one of our. Is she the only character who hasn't worked it out yet?
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. She's the only one who hasn't worked it out yet, and it's the final season. So you work it out.
Yeah, we really should have thought about it.
Yeah. Well, here's what I will say too to that. She's our character of faith. And one of the reasons that we've kept her from knowing is because there is that question, does she need to know? Because she knows deep down in her heart. And that is, that sounds like a cool story to explore.
What's next for Michael?
Well, Michael, because Lucifer showed him his good grace and decided not to do what he should have done, which is kill him, he sent him where people should go to think about what they've done. And so Michael's spending time in time out, should we say.
Would that be purgatory?
No.
What do you think about that?
It's got purgatory attached to it.
He's a barista at Starbucks. So yeah.
Exactly.
Tom, you must, I mean, it looks like you're having so much fun playing Michael and Lucifer, but is there an element where it's like, this is too much work, I can't do everything here? I
mean, I did have a lot of fun doing the family dinner episode. Joe's episode was it was both exhilarating, exhausting, and kind of like just the most insane kind of work rate that I've ever had to do, you know, be involved in something really. Because we don't have an awful lot of time to shoot Lucifer, so when doing something like that, it wasn't like, oh, I'll spend a day as Lucifer and then I'll spend a day as Michael. It was like, gotta be Lucifer, and I'll run off to the side of the stage and get changed, and that's why Michael's hair is basically Lucifer's quiff, just like this, because I'm like, oh, and it's Michael. Yeah. It was a bonkers idea that Joe and Ildy floated to me at the beginning of season 5 when we were going to do season 5. And I thought, it's the final season. Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, right. Any Easter eggs that fans should look out for in season 6?
Ooh. Well, you got a little flash of it there in the clip, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. A dear friend of mine, Mr. Matt Corby, comes back to remind us how the whole show started in the first place, basically. That's one of the Easter eggs. What else have we got?
We actually have another familiar face
Oh,
that shows up at one point from a favorite episode, a favorite guest star.
Yeah, it's funny. We really thought we had hit all of our Easter eggs in season 5. And again, it's so telling of when you sort of step back and figure out where you are. We're like, oh, we hadn't gotten back to our police officer who pulled Lucifer over. Like, we started to like have that new, fresh perspective, and we found one character who we'd never seen. We found one character who we've talked about but had never seen.
Oh, right.
Oh,
hey.
Yeah.
This is such a gripping conversation. It's really difficult.
I know.
I know we spoil a lot in our trailers, and we like to do that because we like everyone talking, but this is the final season, so we're trying to keep our hands really close to the vest, because this is like the last year that we have secrets. This is the last year we can surprise people. And the fact that this is dropping so wonderfully early, you know, like, we know you guys were so impatient for 5B in the way that I would have been if I was a fan. And so I'm thrilled that season 6 is coming out so soon, so that people will be able to watch it as soon as possible so they can see everything. But at the same time, I want to keep all my secrets.
I know, I can't believe some things have not gotten out. It's very exciting.
yeah. Well, that seems like a great place to wrap up. Tom, Ildy, Joe, thank you so much for chatting with me. It's been a blast.
Thank you,
man.
Luke.
I also want to say thanks to the Lucifer fans, and thank you to San Diego Comic-Con. The final season of Lucifer drops on September 10 globally, only on Netflix. See you next time.